Heal & Go is an all-natural hair care and skincare company founded in 2021 by our CEO, Gail Burney. Just a girl looking for natural products to enhance her hair and skin, Heal & Go was born. Heal & Go started with the Shea Rosemary Hair Moisturizer, the flagship item, which is every girl's dream of a moisture-locking, detangling hair dressing. This can be used when braiding the hair or twisting the hair. The African Black Soap Shampoo made with African Black Soap and Marshmallow Root is a deep cleansing shampoo. It is coupled also with the Aloe Vera Leave-In Conditioner, which is made of aloe vera, coconut oil, and it is the hydrating ingredient needed when keeping up a wash and go. Our next item is the Revitalizing Scalp Treatment, which is made of 13 different essential and carrier oils to enhance the scalp, help with scalp issues, and also help with hair growth. We added items like rose water to our line, and rose water can be used on the hair and on the skin. On the hair as a refresher and on the skin as an astringent or helping with makeup. Other items include the hair jelly, which helps with keeping the edges intact and keeping away frizz from the hair. We also have hydrating hair milk, which is like a moisturizer for the hair. And all these items can be found in bundles on our website, or they are also sold separately in different sizes to enhance your varying hair care needs. You can find our product at healandgo.com. We also carry a skincare line, as you see our face scrub, made of bicarbonate of soda, anise, raspberry extract, pineapple fruit extract, kaolin clay. We also have oil cleanser, which is made
from the cradle to the grave. NCCU, you don't have to be no slave. NCCU, you need a loan you want to save. NCCU, welcome and visitors today. Hey, with a commitment to quality. What? Therefore you and me was one big family, but now it's a community. True. Making life easy, yes, like ABC. Don't matter who you are, you can benefit when you bring your mortgage.
With rates as low as 5% and loans for all your needs.
Open an MRA.
Save for your golden years and take advantage of our savings products.
We will finance your business.
Checking accounts, small business loans, wire transfers, and so much more.
NCCU all the way. Wow!
Your community financial partner.
NCCU.
Caribe Hard Cider. Moments made extraordinary.
Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Come on down. Come on down. Welcome to another show. It's so good to be back here with you guys. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, the 25th of September. Yo, the year is going so quickly. It's not even funny. I'm happy that it's September though, and September is almost over. Right? And September is sometimes the longest month for some of us, right? Especially when you have kids and back to school and all of these things. Trust and believe. When September comes around and it's done, we're very, very happy. Want to say special good afternoon or good evening to those of you. I like my clothes. I'm done. Those of you locked in on Facebook. Welcome to the Facebookers. The bell is rang. The bell is rang. Come on down. Let me know where you tuned in from. And also want to say special good evening to the folks on YouTube. Welcome. And those of you who are logging on LinkedIn, welcome. Hi, Ms. Anna. How are you, my dear? Thanks for joining us. Let us know when you come on in. Just let us know where you're logged in from. I'd appreciate knowing where my people are logged in from. Tonight we have another exciting show for you. We have Lyric who's going to be stopping by. I am so interested to know her journey, to hear her story this evening, and I hope lots of you are. And share the live as soon as you get on. Make sure you share the live. I want to say thank you very, very, very much to sponsors of the show. Good evening and welcome, and thank you for being a sponsor. I want to say special, special good evening to the National Cooperative Credit Union, your community partner. So thank you very much to them for getting on board and sponsoring the Jael Joseph Hyde Show. Also want to say thank you very much to the Dominican National Lottery, the agents for Blast Dominica with over 13 locations, about 13 locations in Dominica. And Blast is going to be introducing a new game. So if you play at Blast, there's going to be a new game coming up where you can win like 6 figures, okay? 6 figures. That's all I have to say. And also want to say good evening to Heal and Grow. Thank you very much, Gail Bruni and the rest of the gang at Heal and Grow for being one of the sponsors here this evening. Thank you very much for your support. And of course, Caribe. Caribe, that's what we're drinking. Caribe is our drink of choice. So yeah, make sure you get a Caribe. Make sure you have a Caribe, okay? If you're drinking anything right now, make sure it's a Caribe. They come in many different flavors: the rosé, the brut, the prosecco, a mimosa. Grab a Caribe, a nice cold Caribe, and check out the show because we're about to get started. We're about to get ready for our first guest today, or our guest today. But I just want to remind you guys that a lucky person today will walk away with a $150 voucher to shop at Fresh Market Health, Beauty, and Cosmetics. That's Fresh Market. I've already put up the questions. I've seen the questions on the live. So go ahead and answer the 5 questions, and we'll pick a winner. We're gonna dip, and we're gonna pick a winner. And just go ahead and answer those 5 questions. Tag somebody underneath the questions, and you will be put in the bag to win the $150 voucher from Fresh Market Health, Beauty, and Cosmetics. I want to say good evening to Keith, who's locked in Houston, Texas. So big up with everything you're doing. I'm asking of you to help promote Dominican music. That's beautiful as you are. Oh, I always do that. That goes without saying. If it's your first time here, go to the program. I've been doing that. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Keith, for joining us. And thank you to every single one of you who are joining us on the live. Don't forget to share the live. Let's get this show on the road. I don't want to waste any more time. I want to bring on Lyric the first time on this show. I want to welcome. We have the same last name. Welcome, Lyric.
Hi, what's up?
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Oh my God. Like so many good things, so many big things happening for you. I want to congratulate you, first of all of your achievements.
Thank you. And same to you. I've been seeing you.
Thank you, my love. Thank you. How are things going? How have you been?
Things have been great. Been a little tired, but that's life, when you're trying to balance everything out. You tend to get a little tired.
Hmm. I know a lot more than probably our viewers, our listeners would probably know. So I want to kind of go a little way back to kind of get people to get to know you better
Mhm.
and get an understanding of probably why is she even on this show? Some people probably say, "Oh, she reach on Jael Joseph there show there. What she do? What she do? What she do in life?" People might be asking. All right, so we want to get them up to speed so folks can know a little bit about you. So tell us your name, where you went to school, where you grew
Mhm.
up. Tell us a little bit about where in 767 you are originally from.
I have to drop the government name.
Well, it's up to you. You.
Ooh, so my name is Elena, but I go as Lyric, and I was born and raised in the community of Fobawa, Lubia, which is the south of Dominica. My Dominican should know. And I went to convent high school in my high school years and St. Martin's Primary in primary school. I did opt out of college, so I went straight into, I guess, a trade as a cake decorator right out of college.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you used to do. I remember you used to make those beautiful masterpieces. So you're definitely talented. Long time.
Yeah. For a
Wow.
little while, for a little while.
Um, Let us start first of all about so most people would not know, but you're a singer, a composer. You do so many things where music is concerned. When did you first get started? Your with your musical career. Well, I shouldn't say a musical career. When did you first start singing? Really, especially publicly.
So the very, very, very first documentation that I have is this picture of me in my preschool graduation at like 3 or 4. And I think that was the first time I got up on a stage. And I knew even from that point that that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Um, but professionally, I started performing in Dominica when I was 13, 14, and then took that internationally in 2018.
Wow. You tell us a little bit about life growing up. Like, tell us about your parents, where they live. Are they still in
Mm,
Louisiana?
yeah.
A bit about your family.
Yeah, so everybody's still back home, still in Louvain. Literally, I think all of them born and raised there. And I grew up in a very, very big family, about 8 or 9 members, I feel like at all times, aunts, uncles, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my grandmother. So it was a very big and close-knitted family. My community is super, super quiet. Like we don't have a lot of action or a lot of things going on. Very good neighbors and just very chill childhood. I spent a lot of time indoors, reading, writing, playing music. Yeah.
Do you play instruments? Did you add that? Do you play any instruments?
Yes, I do play a few. Some of it I picked up from convent, but some of it, my dad is a guitarist, so some of it um, from his insistence, just to learn musical instruments. Of course, I played in church and stuff like that. So, yeah.
You haven't told me which instruments you play.
I like to dabble in a little bit of everything, but my main thing is piano. And I taught myself a little something something on the guitar just because it's like my favorite instrument.
Okay. All right. So you grew up in Louvier. You're in a huge family. How did you get into cake decorating? Because that was your first thing after high school. You
Hmm.
just got flipped straight into
Yeah.
cake decorating.
So I'll be honest with you, I struggled a lot through high school. Just with, and I feel like people can ask any of my classmates. I was always the one that was in the class singing to myself or like making up a song or, doing things that wasn't exactly like schoolwork.
Mhm.
Um, so I did struggle a lot through high school. And then I knew once I was out of high school, it was going to be very difficult for me to jump into school again,
When you say
college.
struggle,
So,
like academia, like in terms of
mhm.
academia, you struggled through your classes. Is that what you when you?
Yeah, I think it was very difficult for me to keep my attention because like 24/7 I'm constantly having music playing through my head and it's random melodies or it's words, and it happens all the time. Even as I'm going throughout my day to day, I'm humming. So I think it was very difficult for me to like cut that off and have my focus be strictly on the work that I was doing. Um, So it was a little bit of an extra effort to push through that. And I knew once I finished high school, I didn't necessarily want to jump into higher education right away. So I convinced my parents to let me take a year off. And during that year, I started working at a local cake shop, and that's where that started from. I just never stopped.
Did you always know you could like bake and do these designs? Was it something that you learned at home? Like where exactly did you just picked it up?
Yeah, honestly, I went into the cake shop one time. My sister was the baker at the time there, and I went into the cake shop, and I remember the owner telling me that she kept getting orders for these like elaborate cakes, like different figures and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, let me give it a try. And
Just
my
like that.
very first, just like that. And my very first cake was like a cake in the shape of a ramen packet, like a realistic cake, and just never stopped from that point. But I always used to sketch and paint and draw, so I think it was easy to just turn that into edible art with cake.
Wow, I remember when you used to. I think you lived in Stock Farm at that time. Was it?
Yes.
Yes, yes. I remember when you used to bake those beautiful cakes and stuff. Okay, so Lyric, when did you decide when did you come? I mean, you always said that you wanted to be a singer, but when did you really decide that this was something that you could pursue professionally? Because for a lot of people who come from the Caribbean, especially, your family, your parents, your household, they tend to place a lot more emphasis on, you know, getting a not just a high school but a college and a university degree, landing a big job. These are the
Mhm.
types of expectations that, and it's not something of per se for Dominica. It's like Caribbean parents on a whole,
Yeah.
Caribbean African parents on a whole tend
Hmm.
to be, or tend to take that stance when it comes to raising children. When did you decide that that being a professional musician slash singer was the way for you? And even thinking in the context of being in the Caribbean, how did that make you feel? um or how did you actually process everything and were able to actually take that leap?
Yes, so it was something that I always, like I said, I feel like I got on that stage when I was 4, and the idea just never left my mind. When kids are young, they'll tell you, "Oh, I want to be a lawyer," and then they're 8, and then they want to be a chef, and then they're 12, and they want to be, and those things change over time. For me personally, the answer always stayed the same. Because I just knew that that's what I wanted to do, and I also knew that I was going to do it. So. During the time of, I guess, my childhood and me growing up, I would say that I knew that I didn't have the opportunities that I necessarily wanted in Dominica. And of course, I was going to have to find a way to get to those avenues. But what I did spend my time doing was like honing my craft. So I would spend hours and hours and hours researching the songwriters that I looked up to, that I wanted to not necessarily emulate, but just to have that level of skill that I feel like they have,
Hmm.
and went deep into understanding their rhythms and how they go about doing things. And what I learned is that it takes a lot of man hours to perfect a craft, and that is what I dedicated my time to, even in my youth, until I got the opportunities to like go further and actually apply that.
How did you come up with your name? Because you go from Elena to Lyric.
So my name was actually given to me in high school.
Mm.
I formed this singing group with my two best friends at the time, when we used to stay inside Convent's music room and record little YouTube videos of us singing. Nobody go look up those videos because, oh my goodness, they need to be taken down. But during that time with the group, that name was kind of given, and it just stuck. I was always the one to be writing music and writing songs.
Wow. Um, you've changed the spelling, you've shortened it a bit. Now
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
LYRQ.
Yes.
But I remember it used to be like this longer. You had this
Hmm.
longer spelling. I just want to encourage folks who are on the live. A lot of you folks are coming on. Hi, Dylan. Dylan Lowe is here. Callion.
Hey,
Um,
Dale.
Sandra is also here. Hi, good evening to you. Let us know where you're dropping in from. I've also placed 5 questions that the audience can respond to. And whoever responds to them the quickest and tags people in it will win themselves $150 gift voucher to Fresh Market Health, Beauty, and Cosmetics. So the questions are: what year did Lyric begin her professional career in the music industry? We're not answering that. Okay. Which icon artist influenced Lyric's musical style and passion for singing? What was the title of the Billboard feature song Lyric co-wrote and sang on in 2016? How many songs did Lyric write and vocal produce for Chris Brown's Indigo album? And number five, what is the name of Lyric's first single released in 2023? I think we give them enough hints
Ooh.
that they can go crazy on and respond to for a chance to win $150 gift voucher from Fresh Market Health, Beauty, and Cosmetics. Lyric, all right. So you always love to sing. Did you like take part in any competitions, any singing contests? And you could probably even take us to when you first represented Dominica at the regional talent showcase in Bahamas. So just take us through that process.
I didn't do contests, not many contests, but I was a part of school's art festival, when Convent was out there representing, always on the choir. I can't remember if I had any solos. I might have had one or two solos during my time at Convent, and I did do QTS one year.
You did.
Those are
That's
really the only, yeah, those are really the only ones that I can think of like off the top of my head. But I was more so just performing live. I got my performing start at Anchorage when they had their Word Sound and Power.
wow.
So I would come, I think it was Wednesdays or Thursdays, and I would come every week and try to get a little slot in there, 30 minutes to an hour, and just get that gain that confidence on stage. And Anchorage happened to be the people that introduced me to MMTS, which was the music model and talent showcase that happened in the Bahamas. So I did my um, I did my trial there in front of the judges. I ended up getting through, and then it was like a long process of, I think, almost a year when you did that audition to
Mm,
getting yourself to the Bahamas, which was like almost like self-sponsored because you had to
that's where the
get up.
first.
I remember getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning with my best friend and going out in town and knocking on business doors and like pitching myself to them and trying to get them to sponsor so we could go. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it.
What was that like? What was it like going to Bahamas and taking part?
Um, it was definitely rewarding to see the effort that was put into it because there were so many times that it almost didn't happen.
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of, and now I'm so happy to see Dominicans looking at creative arts as something that no, like you can actually do this. And when somebody tells you like, hey, I want to be a singer, I want to be a writer, I want to be this, like you look at it as something that's plausible and they're able to make a life out of it because I remember back then trying to convince lawyers and business owners and different people like, hey, we're going out of the country trying to do this opportunity. A lot of them were like, I don't really see how that's a value to anyone. So it was very difficult to get sponsorship back then. Um, took a lot of sacrifices, a lot of early mornings, and it just made the opportunity more rewarding. I just want to mention at that time, actually, I think they're having his vigil right now, but Hannes Gregoire was my manager at the time.
Wow.
Um,
My
yes, and
condolences to you.
yeah, he put a lot of effort and a lot of, I don't know, a lot of energy into making sure that I got there. And he also came with me, and he was that type of person that was rooting for me and really knew that he was going to see me at the point at which I am at right now and even further on. So
Wow.
just remembering him in that. Um, but it was it was great, but at the same time I remember I traveled with a throat infection. I actually got a throat infection the day before I had to travel, and I was on antibiotics and having to just like stuff down raw ginger and onions and all the things that us singers try to use to help ourselves feel better. And even with that standing in my way, I was still able to like push through and get an opportunity to get callbacks and start working with some of the people that have helped me to be where I am right now.
So tell us about that. So how did you get to where you are? Were you in Dominica around Hurricane Maria time? Were you still in
Yes,
Dominica? So tell us a
yes.
little bit about your Hurricane Maria and then experience and then eventually leaving Dominica.
Yeah. So I ended up going to the Bahamas to represent Dominica. During that time, I got, I want to say 6 or 5 callbacks. So what it was a talent showcase where there were like 268 participants all over the Caribbean from different countries that came to the Bahamas, and you get to basically audition in front of talent scouts and agents from companies like BET, VH1, Tyler Perry Studios. It was a lot of different people, a lot of different places. And I ended up getting a few callbacks from that opportunity where they're like, no, we want to work with you further. Came back to Dominica and just kept up, with them and making sure that I was able to deliver the things that they were asking me to do. I got my first sponsorship for my studio, so I was able to like set up a studio at home, get all the equipment that I needed, and then was able to fulfill some of the things that they were asking me to do, which is how I got my first Billboard placement.
So
Um,
talk to us.
yes. Yeah, so after that, after the Billboard placement, and then seeing the potential that I had to do that, I think it was
Let's rewind before the Billboard, please. We were not.
Mhm.
You're going too fast for us. You're going too much too fast for us. Let's rewind. How did you make that connection and was able to get a song on the Billboard?
So one of the companies that actually had a callback with me in the Bahamas, what they would do is they would work with different artists, looking for songwriters to do top lining for them. So that is essentially the person that writes the music and writes the idea and the words, and then pitches it to the artist, as something that they can record for themselves and put on their album. And I started out in that way, and they connected me with this one producer that was working on the song. I don't know if I should say the title because it's one of the questions, but he was working on the song for Billboard, and then he asked me if I could basically reproduce the song with my voice, which I did, and they loved it and ended up featuring it on Billboard.
Good
Yeah.
job. Good job. I almost want to ask you how
Sorry,
much
guys, you might have to do some digging, guys. I'm sorry.
that is awesome. Lyric. But you decided that that was not enough.
Oh. Mm-mm. Because the goal for me is to I want to be able to wake up every day and know that I can go to a studio and I can write music and I can record and I can perform, and that is my everyday life, to just be able to create. So even as I was doing that, I had my cake decorating company at the same time. I wasn't doing music full time. You still need to live, you still need to survive. So I really wanted to push myself further to be able to make music, that career that I do full time.
Nice. You heard me? You heard me okay? You good?
Yes, I just had a little shaking.
Yeah, okay. All right. So you decided, okay, that this is it. Hurricane Maria happened. What happened next?
Ooh, that was a little bit of a setback because at that point I had the Billboard premiere happen, and then I want to say right after Hurricane Maria, and we had started making plans with that same company to have me come out to the US and do a few writing camps that they were having, and that's just essentially a huge room of like 60 riders. And then you move, it's like this big building, and you move room to room, maybe with a group of 4, a group of 5 people. And you have a producer and somebody who's doing the recordings, and everybody sits down together and just makes music. And usually it's centered around a specific artist. It could be Rihanna, it could be, it's centered around a specific artist, and you try to focus and just make as many songs for them as you can. But then Maria happened, and no Wi-Fi, no electricity. We lost our roof, so I ended up losing all of my studio equipment. I had absolutely nothing. So basically having to start from scratch, but also having to, I feel like it was about 8 months later, once we had like electricity and everything back, having to like go to the government and be like, listen, I need you. I know people have no roofs. I understand that we are in a desperate place right now, but I need you to help me with this. And what I wanted to do was go to one of the writing camps that they were having in California. After having been invited to several things that I was just unable to attend because of the state of how Dominica was.
Mhm.
And I was very insistent. I pleaded. I sent a lot of letters. I made a lot of phone calls. And finally, the prime minister was like, okay, we're going to take a chance and we're going to do this and we're going to, help you to get there. And yeah, that's basically the decision that changed my life.
Wow. Well, kudos, congratulations. Kudos to the Prime Minister for making that good call. So you decided to go to California.
Mhm.
So what was going to happen in California besides the writing camp, and how were you able to like go from just being in a writing camp to where you are right now?
So California was essentially just that. It was a writing camp that was hosted by one of the American PROs called ASCAP.
Hmm.
So they had hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of people from across America, all around the country, coming to this one event that was happening in California. And there were workshops, there were camps, there were a lot of, I feel like more so workshops. And there was an opportunity for, I guess, months before you could send in your music, and they would kind of have like a panel of judges, celebrity judges, just sit and listen to the music, and you get the opportunity to have live critiques.
Hmm.
Um, you get the opportunity to get free equipment, free merch, stuff like that. So I remember at one of those live panels, which obviously I had no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no nothing, so I couldn't send music in before the time. But I remember at that panel, there were about 30 people that had submitted their music, and I sat there for like 4 hours just listening to everybody going, and I'm like, no, but the music I have is like way more solid than this for me. Like all of the critiques that the celebrity artists are giving, I know that I have it down. I have the music, I have the words, I have the melodies, and I'm like, I need them to play my song. So I put my hand up, kind of like halfway through when they were taking questions, and I remember that session was happening for about an hour of people like asking certain questions. And for an hour, like I had my hand up for a whole hour, just insistent on them
Wow.
calling me. And it was actually this girl behind me. She kind of like she put her hand up and they called her and she's like, she's had her hand up for the whole time. And she pointed on me. And then the presenter was like, okay, we'll take you and then we'll take her last. So I was the very, very, very last person that was gonna end out everything. Um, so I remember they called me, and I just asked the panel, hey, I didn't get a chance to submit. I explained to them what happened. Am I able to play my song right now? And of course, I was prepared with it on a flash drive and everything that I needed. He was so annoyed because he's like, man, we've been here for 5, 6 hours maybe, sitting in this room, and we just want to leave. But he's like, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. If you can't blow all of us away in 30 seconds, that's it. So I remember I put on this first single that I had called Dream Come True. I don't think I ever released it, but I remember I put it
Yeah,
on.
give us a little bit of it because you have us there.
No,
I mean, you have
no,
us there.
no.
Learn you have us there. We there. So you can't let us go. We there.
Honestly, man, honestly, I feel like I am in the hundreds of my songwriting now. I don't even know if I remember what this song sounded like. Jael, honestly. I really don't, but I know that the first 10 seconds played with the music, and when the first line of my voice was out, there was just silence. Silence, and then the whole room just exploded in like screaming and cheering, and that day just being bombarded by people, agents, like people were on the phones calling different people. And that's actually how I got my first official contract because one of the women there was a booking agent to a celebrity producer. And she got him on the phone right away and she's like, you need to go to the studio tonight. So I actually did even finish the writing camp that I went to
But
from that from that night, which was the first day of the camp, but from that evening, I was in the studio every single night, working on songs. At that time, I think for Rihanna's album, which she hasn't put out yet at all, but we had started working on songs from that night, and every single day from that day, I was just
Wow.
in the studio.
Wow, that is such a wonderful story. Uh, how you definitely showed that you were self motivated and you really pushed your way and pushed through to be where you are today. How did you feel you when you saw for the first time, that you had first major songwriters placement on Chris Brown's Indigo album? How did that happen, and how did that make you feel in that moment?
Yes, so I accepted. It did take a little while. I feel like, you come from the Caribbean, and I don't know about you guys, but my parents, even speaking with them about certain things, like my contract, like everybody's just extra careful, and we want second opinions, and you need to make sure that everything is good, and da da da. So
Me
it did
too.
take.
Yes.
It did take. I remember these people being so annoyed because usually you get an opportunity like that, and it's like, okay, let's sign on the spot. It took me 2 months, two
Wow.
months before I agreed to sign. After they made like certain provisions and changed things the way that I wanted. And I want to say within the first 3 to 4 months is when we got that Chris Brown placement. But my partner Jordan, who he lives in California right now, Jordan George, he's actually from Dominica as well, from Cassie Bruce. Big up Cassie Bruce.
Yeah.
But I remember we lived together at the time. We were roommates in California, and once we got the brief saying that Chris needed songs, like we we made up our minds at this point. He wasn't working, I wasn't working, but we made up our minds what we were gonna do was sit down for 5 days in the studio and just do a full run for those 5 days. So I'm talking, we're up, we're recording, we're making music, maybe stopping for 30
How
minutes
many
to get
times you
something
gave
to
in those
eat.
5 days?
No, trust me. Ashamed to say that might have been skipped, right? But it wasn't a lot of pausing. It was almost like this creative binge that even to this day I cannot really explain. It was a flow that just kept going, kept going, kept going. And next thing you know, we're at the end of it after 5 days, and we have all these records that we've done, and we send them over, and right away he just takes 3 of them and he's like, yes. And he cuts them that same day. So at that point we knew that we had it, but it was still a few months until he actually like put out the album.
When you saw your name there, how did you feel?
It felt great, it was almost like a full circle feeling to know that, man, I have been trying in so many ways for so long to just get to a point where I can say, no, this made sense. Because, like I told you, I didn't really take the traditional route of going to college and getting, higher education and having this desk job, or, some other sort of skill, that I feel like our parents kind of look to, like being a doctor or being a lawyer or something like that. Like,
Mhm.
this is what I chose, and with everything in me, I stuck to it, and I made that promise to myself to see it through. So it was great to kind of look back and be like, okay, this wasn't for nothing. And if I can do this, then there really is no limit to what I can do.
How would you feel if you were disappointed? Like if you were to get a disappointment, especially where you are right now, like in terms of like you're getting all of these you have all of these connections and you're able to write for all of these artists. What would you probably say is your would be a disappointment for you? Because I mean, I know as a creative, there's always the fear of not winning or not making it, because
Mhm.
it's almost like you're working paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
until you have enough banked, and then you can
hmm
be like, okay, I can relax now.
hmm
um, what would be disappointing for you right now?
I would say that this entire journey has been. I don't want to. I don't want to make anybody that's like looking or listening believe that it's just been something that's like, okay, it's uphill. Like it has definitely been this up and down, full of disappointing moments. I cannot tell you the amount of times that we've done records for artists that we've had them, cut and we hear it, and then the album comes out and the song is not on there. Because literally until the night before the album drops, they'll change songs, they'll take them out, they'll add new ones. So I can't tell you the amount of times that things have fallen through, the amount of times that just disappointment, even when you write a song and you feel so good about it and somebody else listens to it and they're like, mm-mm, nah, go, go back again, you know what I mean? So you kind of get used to absorbing the disappointment and just seeing it as that catalyst to like push through and push past and keep going. I don't think there's anything that can happen now that would have me be like, oh man, well, it's over, you know what I mean? Because again, this is something that I made a promise to myself that I'm gonna do, so I'm just gonna do it.
Can you share your creative process, your especially the process behind writing and producing songs for an album? Like you talk about how you guys spent, 5 days, but that is like a short time span. And yeah, you may be on a writing binge and all of that. But share with us a little bit about your creative process because I know as creatives you do get creative block as well. So
Mhm.
what is your process like?
So the writing process for me, and I know first of all, Jordan is my partner for a reason because we have a synergy that we kind of created over the years that I communicate in my own language to him, and he understands what I need, and he's able to do it, and we're able to get it done. So I've not been able to find anybody that's done that for me with the people that I've worked with. So he's like kind of my secret weapon, under everything. But I would say the process starts with the music, and that is really the only element of the song that I am not a part of. So I don't make any beats, I don't make any music or anything like that as far as like the instrumentation of the songs. But we do work with a lot of producers that send us that those music that we need. And then from loading up the music, we go straight into melodies. Now, that really isn't something that I can explain. I know when I talk about it, for me, it just seems like a more of like a spiritual process. I feel like music on a whole and writing music on a whole is something that's not really explained, because for me the melodies and the words come from a place that I don't even know. It almost is like it just drops down and you just
Mhm.
grab a hold of it and you keep going. So it really does sometimes feel like a spiritual process of just getting those melodies out. No, once I get them out in that state, and then I go back and I listen to them, I'm able to again, I don't know how, but immediately know what elements work, what elements don't work, what I can stitch together. And that's called vocal production, which is one of like my strongest suits. So I kind of stitch it together in the way that I know it's supposed to be. And most of the times when I'm mumbling or like I'm in that state of doing the melodies, I'm mumbling the words, but I don't know that I'm mumbling them until I go and play back. And then I can hear what my mind was trying to form.
Wow.
Um, and then the words kind of come together there. So,
That
yeah.
is very, very interesting. Everybody's on the live, everybody's trying to figure you out, and everybody's having their conversation. They're having their conversation with themselves, they're answering themselves. Um, Callion made how many comments? Callion, we see you, we know you on the live. um, Candia Larrock says good night. Elaine Visa says good evening as well. Was asking if you're a lucky, and somebody said she looks like one, and and then somebody else say no, she's a Joseph. D Danny said, I'm so happy for you, Lyric. So they're having their own little conversation in here, and we're here for it. We're here to take it all in. If you're just coming on, we are speaking with Lyric. She is a singer, songwriter, composer, and she is from the nature island of Dominica, living in the US and producing music for big names. Some big names, and we'll drop some big names in a little bit, in a few seconds. But you've managed to collaborate with many producers like Rick Ross, the producer for Rick Ross, which that's Major Seven, DJ Khaled, Business Boy, who's done Elton John, Rihanna, Summer Walker, Eminem, and so many more people. Who would you say was your favorite collaboration?
As far as producer goes,
Yes.
okay, I hope nobody's watching. Um, I definitely have a top three.
Okay, so give us a top.
Um, oh Lord, I really hope they're not on. Okay, no, let me not say top three. I will have an umbrella of people. But definitely Major Seven. If anybody knows anything about him, he's Jamaican, and I feel like there's always a kindred connection when it comes to connecting with my Caribbean people. Um, and most of the talented people that you see up there, surprisingly enough, are from the Caribbean. Whether it's Jamaica, whether it's Trinidad, whether it's St. Lucia, like their parents were born there. They frequent coming back to the islands. Like the islands have a lot of raw talent. So I would say any of my island people, so Major Seven, Business Boy, Yak Beats, or there's this group that has like a little umbrella of producers under them called, oh Lord, what's the name? Oh guys, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to think of their names. There's so many of them. It's not Beat Monsters. But anyways, Drums Addict is one of them, and if he's watching right now, I'm so sorry that I can't remember your group's name. But I mostly connect with people that understand. Now, I don't read music, so I'm not very good at
Mhm.
music theory.
Wow.
My skill is a very raw skill, um, but I feel like it's very valuable for producers to know and understand how to read music and understand music theory. And those producers that take the time to do that are usually the ones that are the Rihanna placements and the Summer Walker placements because the music just sounds different. Like they understand how chord progressions work, the type of chords that you can actually put together, what a hook is, what a verse is, what a bridge is. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just kind of like stuff everything together and don't really know how the music is supposed to sound. And it does make the process a little more difficult. So I tend to gravitate towards the people that understand music on that level.
Hmm. How would you say your focus has shifted as you develop your own, your own artistry or your own sound?
Mhm.
How has that shifted?
So I entered the industry as a songwriter. The first contract that I was offered was as a songwriter. So my day to day consisted of top lining and writing music for other artists. A little while after I ended my first contract, I got into doing music for film and TV. So working with companies like Viacom, Paramount, DreamWorks, just like working on different shows, television shows and movies. So I think now I've kind of shifted to um, with my new label's insistence, I've kind of shifted to just my own artistry and being ready to shine a spotlight on me as an artist and the kind of music that I want to put out into the world as opposed to doing it for other people.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. Finally, I mean, it seems like a very quick progression, right? It's like just the other day you were writing, and now
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, and
already.
honestly, I had this big 5 year plan. I'll do this for this amount of time, and then I'll go and they're like, why? Why? You have all the music, you've been doing this for a while. We just, we get a plan together and we just execute it. So that's the new thing is is trying out the artist side and which is what I've always wanted to do. And I feel like maybe have been too afraid to kind of like come out of the background and do that for myself. But it's definitely been what I've told myself like I'm working up to. And I'm just
Mhm.
at the point where I can't be working up to it anymore. I just have to do it.
Can you discuss your recent partnership with Visa USA, um, and what it was like opening up? Because as a result of that, you opened up for Skip Marley. So share with us a little bit about that.
Oh, Jael. So you know, as Dominicans, we like we are little malcase, we like trouble. So,
Well, Katsura does get us
um,
many places, you know.
right. So I mean, Skip Marley is first of all my favorite Marley. Skip and Damien, top two. So I like I said, I definitely go through these moments of like going up and down, and obviously as a writer and as somebody who loves music, that is what I turn to whenever I'm in those moments where I just need to get myself out of that rut. And Skip has his own playlist. Skip is on the top of the roster where that is concerned because it's something about the way that he puts his music together. The melodies, which I can appreciate, the words, which I can appreciate that I know comes from that place that I experienced, and I've always admired that. So back in 2021, I was writing this little manifestation list about the artists that I'm gonna work with in the future, and that I'm gonna meet in person, not just work with in the future, but meet in person. So he was on that list back in 2021. I was still in Dominica at the time. I hadn't transitioned to the US, but just writing that off for myself. And then I always follow him on social media. Every single post that he posts, I'm liking. But I had never commented on one of his posts before. And one of them just happened to be something that said, tell us your own manifestation or your own wish. You know, if you could have one wish from Skip Marley, what would that manifestation be? And I just being Malcolm say, I just checking, let me leave a comment. I not thinking anybody gonna see my comments because that's the kind of guy that has like hundreds of people commenting on his post. So I left the comment basically saying that I wanted to do a feature with him, and little did I know, a representative from Visa saw the comment and went to my page. And when they saw the first few videos of me singing and my single, then they contacted everybody else on their team and they're like, no, we have this girl. We need to make something happen.
Let me tell you, those people must be deep diving, eh? Let me tell you.
Deep
Deep
dive, very
dive.
serious deep dive. It was a 50 something page PowerPoint that was made, ready to go into what was going to happen. So 2 weeks later, they contacted me, and they're like, "We saw your comment, and this is what we're proposing. Do you want to do it?" And I mean, it wasn't even a question. That I lost my mind. I lost my mind.
I'm losing my mind. And it happened already. Oh my God.
So
That is
yeah, I said yes, and I was in London within the week. It happened very fast. From yes to being on the plane was, I want to say, less than 4 or 5 days, and I was there, and it was happening. So.
wow. Everything's so fast paced, and
Mhm.
it sounds to me like you always have to like stay ready.
Stay ready. Be prepared. Yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
What are some of your goals for your upcoming projects? I know you have an EP and
Mhm.
a second single coming out soon because we talk about the first, but they have to answer the first. Um, what are some of your goals for that?
So yes, I do have an EP that's already been made. It was made last year, and there's been quite a few humps. And because it's one thing to like make an EP and put out an EP, when you're under a label, it's a little different. That there's a certain way that they want to roll things out, that they want to promote, and that is not it's not cheap, but also it does take a lot of planning. It does take a lot of strategic things falling into place to get the results that you want. And unfortunately, even if I released my first single last year, like we were not able to have the chips fall the way that we wanted. So it's
Mhm,
been an ongoing process of planning and making sure that things fall how we want them to fall. Because of course, you don't want to put effort into something and then see that you don't get the
mhm,
results that you want, or at least anywhere near that.
mhm.
Um, so we're back on track with releasing my second single that should be coming out very soon. I don't want to say anything that's gonna get me in trouble, but by before the year ends, is what we're planning. So that should be out very soon with my first visualizer or music video with it, and yeah, we're just going full force. That's the plan. My goals are um, I remember back in 2021, 2022, I was doing music full time up until this year when I kind of had to like take a step back and um, do some other things as well as like the music. But I want to go back to the past 2, 3 years that I've had of just being able to wake up every day, record, get opportunities to go perform live. I've missed being on stage, and that's one thing that performing. Um, for Skip kind of like reminded me that my safe space and the place that I feel the happiest is when I'm on stage in front of an audience. So I want to get back to that. I definitely would like to tour the US, tour Europe. I absolutely love England. So I definitely want to get into performing live more, touring more, putting out my first EP, and just delving fully and completely into being a recording artist.
Wow. How do you balance your work as a songwriter and vocal producer while still developing your own music? Because obviously you want to make your extra money on the
Hmm.
side, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it's not really
Hmm.
on the side because that's your livelihood.
Yeah.
How do you balance the two of them?
Well, luckily enough, I mean, I haven't been doing a lot of artist writing in the past months. Every now and then there'll be one or two things where they're like, oh, this person is looking for a song, send some records, this person is looking for that. It's more so been film and TV. And
Okay.
luckily enough for me, when these opportunities come, the turnaround is like very, very quick. You have 2 days or you have 3 days to get it done and get it sent in. So it
And
doesn't take a
majority of the
lot
time
of,
they probably take it too.
yes.
It's kind of like a find. Yeah.
Hmm.
They're like an
Hmm.
artist. They're like, okay, you named
Yeah.
them, that's
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something like that you can go in and go out and kind of get done. So it doesn't take too much away from me doing my artistry, but at the same time, what I'm developing right now is the social media side of it because I have a music vault of songs, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs. So I don't feel like I have to worry too much about oh, do I need to write some new music for me? Because there are some incredible ones that I already have that I can definitely go forward with when the time is right. Now I'm working on gaining the confidence of like, because I'm super private. People that know me, I don't like to show my face. It's like I just wanna do
You
the thing
gotta
that I
build that
love.
social media
I
presence,
know,
girl.
I
Girl,
know.
that's where the money's at.
I know. So that's been like the biggest challenge of working through and having that visibility because I shy so much away from it. I just want to do the thing and not necessarily want to like have the spectacle of me being there and you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah. How would you say that growing up in Dominica, or would you say that growing up in what about growing up in Dominica really influenced you into becoming an artist? Because you like you said a few times, you were never really swayed, or
Mhm.
you never changed, not never really, you would never change your mind about what you wanted to be. And this is rare for somebody growing up in the islands, to not even feel for one moment that it's going to be something else, because your
Mhm.
mind was always set on being a singer songwriter. How has Dominica influenced that?
Honestly, when I think about it, when I talk about it, I thank God for it every day. I thank God that I grew up on a little island in the Caribbean that nobody seems to know about, in the community that I grew up in with the family that I had, because it sets you apart so much when you come out to a place like here and people see you and people hear you, they instantly feel and know something is different about you. It's affected my sound from the tone to the way I sing.
What what
Um,
what about your tone? What about it? What
So
about
I feel I feel like even with singing, a lot of people say that, I sing like an American or I sing in an accent, but it's almost like Thames and Tyler where they may sing like an American, but you can tell that they're not from America. So most of the time, like people can tell that voice is not, or that tone of voice is not an American person
Mhm.
singing. Where are you from? I always get that. So I think because of the accent that's still there, by the way, it is absolutely still there. I think
But
because
people don't understand that we have to code switch a lot when
yeah,
you have to
absolutely.
learn
Because
that.
I'm sick and tired of the huh? What you say?
Which
I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of it. So it's still there. It comes out in the singing, it comes out in the talking. It does set you apart. It's right now being from the Caribbean and being us, a West Indian, is something that these American artists are trying to pull off themselves. You know, everybody wants a connection to the Caribbean. Everybody wants to have that flavor, you
yeah.
know, and to be born in it and just have it naturally is
Hey.
a huge, 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 huge advantage. I think because of me being raised in Dominica that didn't have so much of like a global music industry at the time, it gives you an appreciation in the rooms that you show up in. And that's one of the things I know Jordan and I always got when we would enter these rooms is like a lot of people don't want to be doing the things that you guys are doing and putting in the hours that you guys are putting in and the effort. Like they are very entitled, you know, in the rooms that they enter. Whereas for us, it's like there's just gratitude 100% because we know where we come from,
Mhm.
and we are just grateful to be in the room, to be included in the conversation, to get the opportunities, and that is something I feel like that's something that sticks with you.
And people see
Especially
it at the
yeah.
other side, and they see when people see how grateful you are, and it's just not necessarily in your words, but just in your attitudes and everything.
Hmm.
Then you'll find that they are more open and willing and to work with you, but not just work with you,
Yes.
recommend others
Yes.
to you
Yes.
because people don't want to put their name on something that might mess up somewhere down the line and mess up their good name, right?
Hmm.
So you doing you having the Dominican essence that is clearly coming through. People see that and they feel that and they know that without a shadow of a doubt that that you're different, you know, in a good way.
Hmm. It
How
is
do
it's definitely a secret weapon.
that is fantastic. That's good to know because the first thing a lot of people try to do when they leave Dominica is to lose their accent.
Ooh.
Like people try so hard to lose their accent. I mean, I have an accent, right? But I know
Hmm.
when to turn it on and I want to turn it off.
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
also feel like I am allowed to have an accent because I lived. I mean, I'm 40 and I lived in Canada
Hmm.
when I was 16, so I'm allowed,
Ah, yes, yes. At that point,
right?
well integrated.
Right? So when people say, "Hey, you have an accent," I know how to switch back to my
Hmm.
Dominican accent. I just choose
Hmm.
any given time to song however I want to song. And it's part
Yeah,
of
agreed.
you and you unique and clearly it's something that people see, they can identify with and they see how different you are. Yes, I do code switch quite a bit. Somebody's on the line saying that. How do you stay grounded, lyric, like and maintain your mental well-being in such a competitive music industry?
How I stay grounded. Well, first of all, I just say that I have a family that will stomp you into the ground if you don't want to stay grounded. And I mean that in the best way possible. So they do keep me exactly where I need to be on earth at all times. And I love that. I don't feel like I've ever gotten to a point where I needed that reminder, but even if I don't, it's still there.
Mhm.
And also, I also have this mindset of we could lose anything at any moment, right? Even the things that we know we've worked every day for, we work hard for any number of circumstances could just be gone tomorrow. So with that in the back of my mind, I'm always in this space of just being grateful, of just having gratitude through everything. Learning now to have it through the downs because I'm very good at having it through the ups. But I noticed a few years back that I struggle with even being grateful for the moments where I have that like nothing's really happening or I have those down moments and being grateful for that too because it allows me the time to reflect and to rest, um, to kind of like go inwards and to think and just to kind of come out the other side of that as a better version of myself than I was before. So just always keeping myself accountable and staying in that space of gratitude with just in the back of my mind, like, you know, any day, any of it could be gone. So you just have to live and you just have to be grateful for it in the now.
Wow. You mentioned your family, making sure that they keep you grounded. How?
100%.
What is there? What are some of the roles they play in terms of your music career?
Nobody re is really playing like a super super role where the music is concerned, but I mean, I always
Well, they
listen.
make sure that contract was intact.
Yes.
That is
Or
that is a
make sure to tell
major.
me, even if they couldn't read it or understand, they would be like, no, get a second opinion. Have you check it over, because you, even if nobody, understands the verbiage, but they'll contact an entertainment lawyer and make sure that we have everything down.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, yes, anything that I'm doing, obviously they're a part of, and they're super supportive. But then my family is also like, my dad is a pastor. My whole family is like a praying family, so they're always praying over me. They're always I always get the long, the grandmother lectures, the long lectures about, watch where you're going, and the people and the drinks and the food, and just be always aware of your surroundings. So all of that just keeps me, it keeps me down to earth. It keeps me leveled. Um,
That's definitely beautiful. I want to go to the live people in just a second. People are commenting. I don't want to miss because you stayed for a little too long and then you have so many comments. So Janice Roberts is saying Lubia massive um, in the house. Stanlina Jones is saying Kazo. I guess it's
Hi,
your
cousin.
Hey Ghana is saying lyric.
Hey, hey.
Um, my sister is saying that's dope. Awesome manifestation. Yeah, about that manifestation. Let me tell you, girl, that's what wonders for me. You have no idea. So I feel you on that. That manifesting what you want, putting it down, writing it. I remember
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I still do it. Write them on post-its and put them
Mm-hmm.
there and stuff. People are like, "What are you talking about? Yo, everything I've manifested, I've gotten right." It's like,
Recently my best friend told me that she's never going to question my delusions again, because like I'll say things, I'll write it down, and I don't even know how it's gonna happen, but as far as I know, it has to. So
yo, like
she's gotten to the point where she's just, I'm not gonna ask any questions.
it's so crazy, like the kinds of things that I've asked for and
Mhm.
I've gotten it. I've gotten it. Hey, Ghana says we have a stage waiting for you.
Yes, yes.
We're ready for that. Joanne tweet is saying, "You go, girl. We're proud of you." Diane Charles answered some of the questions. Well, she attempted to answer some of the questions. So Diane will check out your responses and see if you go in the bag to win. I guess that's Nikki Grell. Grell is saying code switch. I hear an accent. Gosh, you too. I guess they're making fun of us. We both have an accent. Aurelie saying, I recall when Hanif would manage Lyric, he always said she was going to be a superstar. He would be so proud of you. Keep shining.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Like,
Honestly, uh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm honestly still digesting it, because I remember the day I found out my aunt called me was the day I was li leaving London. Um, and I remember in the morning I had this ache in my heart. Like I was boarding a plane and I had this ache in my heart. I remember they had to do a bunch of different things on the flight to just get me to feel comfortable, not knowing an hour later I would get the news, and it still hasn't sunk in. That was somebody that was really a pivotal part of when I needed to move from one level to the next, that was there just propelling me. So yeah, I think about him so much.
rest in peace. Neander is saying, full support, my girl is amazing, a Dominican gem. Lexi is saying, his vigil is tonight, is tonight at the
Yeah.
very moment. Lexi is saying, you girl, we're proud of you. So a lot of folks are shouting you out on the live here this evening. Lyric, how do you find inspiration for your songwriting in your everyday life?
Well, fortunately, with life being life, there is no absence of things happening. And that goes for like the people that are around me, or you could just go on social media one day and then happen to see some story on TikTok, and you jump down this rabbit hole, and so I tend to pluck it from a lot of places. But then also, like I told you, with the writing process that I have, most of the times I don't know unless it's something that's very, very specific, like when you're doing it for a film or for a movie, and they gave you the description and they tell you this is the scene and that's what the characters are doing and that's what we need you to sing about. Most of the times I'm doing the melodies, and it's kind of in this state where I'm not really aware of it, and then I come back and I can hear the words back at me. So sometimes it writes itself, but I do have quite a bit of people in my life that life is just lifing for them, and I'm able to get inspiration from there as well.
Uh, can you share with us a moment in your personal career that significantly impacted your artistry?
Hmm. A moment in my personal career that impacted my artistry. I think it would have to be my transition out of my first contract. And I'll
Hmm.
say this now to anybody that's going to be in the position that I'm in or in it right now. Even when you do all the work, even when you read the contracts, even when you do everything that you're supposed to do, it doesn't mean that the people that you're with are going to honor their promises to you, even if it's a contractual obligation. And what that really taught me is um, one, know everything that you need to know and how to stand on your own. Um, and two, just be able to let go of the things that are not for you and know that if that's not for you, there's something out there that is for you. I know it was a very difficult thing to leave that first contract, just not being on the same page with the people that had signed me at that moment, and obviously not knowing what next was going to happen for me because you don't have the same resources, you don't have the same connections that you have, and you're essentially on your own and you don't know what's next. So that was a point that I definitely remember that I threw myself into the music. It was a thing where I was doing it every day. I had no rhyme or reason as to where it was going or who it was going to or what I was going to do with it. But I found that once I did that, the people just found themselves, like found their way to me. So it wasn't anything that I actually had to, to go looking for, just with making the music. And it could be, putting it on social media or just letting a producer or a friend or something listen to it. And the next thing you know, it gets to somebody else and it gets to somebody else. And then you have people kind of coming at you. Um, so I think that was very pivotal for me. It was a lot of hard lessons, but it also let me know that you're okay, even if you don't have the support of the celebrity people and these big companies or whatever it is. Like as long as you can stand on your own gift,
Mhm.
then you're gonna be good.
What legacy do you hope to leave through your music and your artistic contributions?
Um, for my music, and I will say that I'm not doing right now. I'm kind of working on music that's just fun. Very similar to the stuff that I did for Chris Brown. That's just like very fun. You can play it on the radio, you can dance to. But I do have a lot of songs that speak deeper because I'm a storyteller. Like I write stories, I write novels. I love the type of songwriting that isn't just about repeating the same things over and over, but it actually tells you a story about something. So I have quite a few records that I've written about my childhood, about my relationship with my parents, and just, growing up or situations that I may have gone through that, well, one, I want people to know, like you have Shakespeare that wrote his books, and all these years later, like we're still reading it, and we
Mhm.
know that he was who he is. You kind of just want to leave that mark on the world to let people know I was here. And I went after what I wanted to go after. I went after my dream. I gave it, my best shot. But at the same time, I find again, whenever I go through those moments of I don't know what the next step is, or I don't understand what life is doing right now, and I'm just not in a good place mentally. I have artists that I pull too, and I listen to them, and whether it's their tone or what they're singing about, or it just does something to me to heal that part of me to help me get out of it. And
Mhm.
if it's anything that I want to do for people, the people that listen to me, is that I want you to be able to have your worst day possible, put on my music, put on something that I've done, and just feel like, okay, I can get through this, we can make it to tomorrow.
Hmm. What would be your most important piece of advice you would give any aspiring? I mean, and now you probably know Bouillon Hot in Dominica and the rest of
Yes,
the
yes.
world. There are a lot of aspiring singers, and there's some that will probably come out of the woodwork, now, because they feel it's a great opportunity. Ooh, we lost her for a second. What happened
What
here?
happened? Oh, okay.
What happened? The internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was saying that there are so many artists I mean, we know Bouillon is mostly a chant, a rhythm. There's
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
too much lyrical composition where attached to
Mm-hmm.
that. But I know there are artists, dancehall, R&B, hip hop, rap, trap, probably cadence,
Mm-hmm.
artists out there, or aspiring artists, who would want to probably know, or probably trying to get to where you are.
Mm-hmm.
What would be an important piece of advice you would give to these aspiring singers, songwriters?
The most important thing that I can say is invest. Invest, invest, invest. And when I say invest, I in no way, shape, or form mean monetarily. Back then, I was broke. I had not a dime. I relied a lot on one, either my business or just selling the idea of my dream to people and having them jump on and support me. And I think that's important too, that you need to be very, very, very 100% sure that there is no plan B for you and this is what you want to do. When you know that within yourself, you're able to convince other people of it, and then you're also able to deliver on your word and not just have it be something you say. But it's super important to invest time. Your time is all that you have. And even if it's 2 hours a day because you still have to go to a 9 to 5, or even if it's 16 hours a day because you just want to dedicate. Like I went through a lot of months of me saying, I'm saving up money. I'm gonna work, 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 work. When I had my business, save up money, and then for the next 6 months, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna wake up every day. I'm gonna put in 16 hours of just sitting down and doing songs and doing research and trying to understand, the writers that wrote this song that did this, how did they get to there? What is their story? What is their story like? What is their writing process like? Trying to understand how you put the songs together. What is a hook? What makes a hook? What makes a verse a verse?
Mhm.
Invest in yourself, invest in your skill. Like it and hours. You have to put in hours. You have to treat it like it's a job that you clock into and you do, even if you do on the days that you don't want to do it. Even on the days, like you said, that you feel like you have those blocks, just do something. I spend a lot of time reviewing some of the music that I do, going back over it, adding different parts just to fatten it up, level it up. So you can always invest time and effort into your craft, and that's going to be the most important thing. Like where you are today is not where you're going to be in the next 2 years, and the only way you can get to that point is to just constantly be going at it, going at it, going at it, researching the people that you look up to and trying to implement the things that they do that make them successful into what you do as well.
That's some really good advice, that you gave, because oftentimes we feel like, we it will come to us. It doesn't happen that way. You have to push hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And pushing hard is not like I like the fact that you mentioned spending time with your craft, and spending long hours and developing it, but also spending time to reaching out to people
Mm-hmm.
that have, like, that are have like mind did
Yeah.
you, or people that can probably put you on a plug or something.
Mm-hmm.
You've done a really good job at really networking, and building and creating in a very short space of time. And it
Mm-hmm.
makes me feel like, like this is attainable for any other artist in
Mm-hmm.
Dominica. You just have to have a lot of passion, a lot of drive, and a lot of determination. I
Little bit of delusion sprinkled in there. But and that's the thing too, the investment goes into, if you have to travel to a talent showcase and you really want to do it and you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go knock on people's door and beg for them to sponsor you $2 for you to do it, then that's just what you're gonna have to do. Like the investment comes in a lot, but like pour into yourself as much as you want somebody else to pour into you.
Yes, that was great to know. I'll tell you who you remind me of. Like, you remind me of Candy from Housewives of Atlanta.
I doesn't watch that.
Oh.
I doesn't watch reality TV.
I mean, she had a huge career as a songwriter. Um,
Mhm.
and for years, she was a songwriter. Even before Escape, she became part of the band,
Mhm.
singing group Escape. And then, she continued to write even after Escape. That is, she's made millions just writing. She's written
Mhm.
plenty big names, Mariah, Beyonce, you name it, right?
Mhm.
So you already have you don't even have your foot in the door. You're the other side of the door. You're already in there. So I know you're gonna do wonderful things. I know we're gonna see your name on many other projects. I look forward to seeing all of the wonderful things that you have, including your EP. I want to give you an opportunity to, if you have any final words, if there's anything that you want to share, or you probably didn't get to share and you feel like you want to reach out and touch somebody through the screen.
um, I will just say that I know you mentioned the past and what will be, but one of the things that I definitely look forward to that I forgot to say, I'm not sure if we have one yet, and somebody can correct me on that, but I do want to bring my country's first Grammy. Um, I know Thea gave us our first Olympic gold medal. So I'm aiming for our very, very, very first Grammy, and that has always been at the top of my list to be there and look back at my people and just be like, this is possible, you know? I
Yeah.
feel like at that point, any parent or any government official that sees that can look at an artist from that point on and be like, there's no way that I can tell you that what you want to do will not get you somewhere. You
Mhm.
know, to me, that is like the height of what to look to. So I'm
Well,
gonna
we did
get that.
cheering for you,
I'm
girl.
gonna.
Pom poms. We have our pom poms on, and we're cheering for you. We definitely are. Lyric, it was a pleasure having you on with me here,
Thank you. Thank
and
you for having me. It's
thank you.
so good to see you again. I know it's been so
I know
long.
it's been a long time. It has definitely been a long time, and it's good to see you. And I wish you all the best. I look forward to seeing your name in the stars. Um, like they like to say it, and
Mhm.
and just keep doing your music and keep pushing, and don't be ever be discouraged. I know how to keep good people around you. I don't have to
Mhm.
tell you. You got this, and kudos to you. All the best, and continue to shine, my girl.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I can't see the comments, but everybody that came to watch, thank you so much.
Yeah, you can always go back and check them. Even with
Okay.
you go back and check them and respond to people. Lots of folks were on there.
All
Mostly
right.
no questions. Um,
Okay.
mostly comments. Thanks, Lyric.
All righty. Have a great night.
Yeah. Guys, that's it. That's a wrap up for this evening. It was such a wonderful time having Lyric on here with us and just talking to her, having her share with us, a little bit about her journey thus far, because her journey is going to continue. I'm so excited to see what's in store for her. A few folks I saw just coming in. Hi, Nix, Roy, how are you? Hope you are having an awesome day. Thank you, guys. All those of you who came on, those of you who shared the live. I will be back with you next week. Stay tuned. Make sure you follow the page, follow the Jael Joseph live page, follow the Jael Joseph regular page. Everywhere I am, follow me on YouTube. You can go back and check out past any past interviews. So if you missed this one, if you just came on when we were wrapping up, that's okay. You can always catch it a little bit later, or you can catch it actually right away on YouTube. You just hop on over to my YouTube account. That's Jael. That's at Jael Joseph. I want to say thank you very much in a huge way to the sponsors. I want to say thank you to the National Cooperative Credit Union, the HHB Richard and Company Limited, the agents for Caribbean, also the Dominican National Lottery, specifically the Blast. So the Blast locations, Blast gaming locations that are located all over Dominica. Also, want to say thank you very much to Heal and Go. That is, of course, Gail Rudy. Good evening to you, and thank you very much for joining on the show. And also Fresh Market. One of you will win yourself $150 gift voucher
to Fresh Market Health, Beauty, and Cosmetics. I have pinned a few questions at the top. You answer them and you get a chance to win. Thanks again, guys. To all those of you who joined, thank you very much for joining in. I truly appreciate everything. Hi, David. How are you? I truly appreciate every single one of you and wish you guys a great weekend. The weekend technically starts tomorrow because tomorrow is like the fourth day, right? The week has ended. So have a good weekend, all, and we will see some other time. All right. Until next time, saying good night. Bye bye.
Caribe Hard Cider. Moments made extraordinary.
From the cradle to the grave, you don't have to be no slave. You need a loan you want to save. Welcome and visitors today. Hey, with a commitment to quality. What? Therefore you and me was one big family, but now it's a community. True. Making life easy. Yes. Like ABC. Don't matter who you are, you can benefit. When you bring your mortgage,
With rates as low as 5% and loans for all your needs.
open an MRA.
Save for your golden years and take advantage of our savings products.
We will finance your business.
Checking accounts, small business loans, wire transfers, and so much more.
NCCU all the way. Wow!
Your community financial partner.
NCCU.
Heal and Go is an all-natural hair care and skincare company founded in 2021 by our CEO, Gail Burney. Just a girl looking for natural products to enhance her hair and skin, Heal and Go was born. Heal and Go started with the Shea Rosemary Hair Moisturizer, the flagship item, which is every girl's dream of a moisture-locking, detangling hair dressing. This can be used when braiding the hair or twisting the hair. The African Black Soap Shampoo made with African Black Soap and Marshmallow Root is a deep cleansing shampoo. It is coupled also with the Aloe Vera Leave-In Conditioner, which is made of aloe vera, coconut oil, and it is the hydrating ingredient needed when keeping up a wash and go. Our next item is the Revitalizing Scalp Treatment, which is made of 13 different essential and carrier oils to enhance the scalp, help with scalp issues, and also help with hair growth. We added items like rose water to our line, and rose water can be used on the hair